Hello, welcome to Chef Richard's Kitchen. I'm Chef Richard Miller. Today we're going to make a German dish, and it's one of German's most popular and probably one of the most tasty side dishes. And today we're going to make Rotkohl, which is the German for red cabbage. And this version, as our most, actually has a sweet and a sour component to it, which is done by sugar and vinegar. So it's extremely easy to make. The worst part of it is you just have to wait a while for, pretty much everything to soften in. So let's start out with about 4 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to let that melt down for a little bit. We're going to put in 1 diced red onion. I've got 2 diced apples. You could use any apple you want. I just happen to use Granny Smith just because I like them. Let's put in our onions. And what we want to do is saute these basically until they're translucent. All right. We have 1 head of red cabbage sliced up into 1/4, 3/8 inch strips. We've got 5 tablespoons of sugar, 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/2 cup of water, and probably 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. So really, it's an extremely simple recipe. All right, the onions are pretty much translucent. Now let's put in the apple. And the plastic, by the way, is just because you know how apples turn brown, quickly. Would it make any difference once they're cooked in here? No. But they look a little better on camera if they're not turned brown. All right, now let's go ahead and let's let these saute a little bit. Probably 2 to 3 minutes, something like that. When we get back, then it'll be time, we're going to start adding our cabbage. That has to cook down a little ways, so that'll take a while. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch it off right now, and we'll just let the apples saute down as well. All right, it's probably been about 10 minutes, and our apple is really softening up nicely. So now it's time we're going to put the cabbage in. And I'm going to put the cabbage in, and we're going to mix it in. What I'm going to do is what we want to do now is we want to start softening the cabbage. And we're going to soften it, and I'm going to go ahead and cover it for a while. We're going to soften that, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix up our sweet sour ingredients for it, pour it over, and then we're just going to let it get in there and really do its thing, soften it up, meld all the flavors. And by that time, it's going to be really, really, really good. So This will probably have to go about 15 minutes or so. So once again, I'm not going to make you wait. I'll just go ahead and shut it off here. All right, it's been about 5 to 7 minutes. And the cabbage, you could tell is starting, to soften up a little bit, but it's nowhere near where it should be. So, but right now, let's go ahead and we can make our sweet sour. And I'm going to start by putting in my ½ cup of apple cider vinegar and ½ cup of water. And add to that, I'm going to put in my 5 tablespoons of just granulated sugar. Now let's just go ahead and whisk it together until the sugar dissolves. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and add my clove. Yeah. All right, now let's go ahead and let's pour our liquid mix. And once again, stir that in. Very good. But I am going to put a little salt and pepper in there. Not a lot. The flavor is delicious. The only problem is, and we knew it was going to be like that, is just the cabbage is tough. So let me go ahead. I'm putting the lid on. I'm probably going to let it, simmer like this for probably about a half an hour. So once again, I can't ask you to go ahead and wait for that amount of time. So I'm just going to turn the camera off. Don't go far. I know you want to come back. I want you to come back too. Okay, it's actually been about an hour and a quarter. And what I did was I took my top off, the lid off, and I let some of the water evaporate. So right now it's at a very, very good consistency. Now the only thing that we need to do, taste it. You can taste the cabbage, a little bit of the apple, The sugar and the apple cider vinegar have balanced themselves out very, very well. It's very well balanced. The only thing it needs is probably just a little bit of salt and pepper. Magnificent. You can serve this, really, you can serve this with, with anything. It doesn't have to be with German food. This is delicious, just, even standing on its own. You could serve this with any chicken, pork, or whatever. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a few recipes on German food. Like somebody with the name Miller, kind of does German stuff. I'll tell you the story behind that, on another episode. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd do a few German dishes, but what I want to do is make sure that I do a lot of the sides in advance so I can just refer back to this. So, okay, let's go ahead and let's plate. Okay. Put that under the detail camera. I really don't have anything really good to garnish this with, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back to my good old standby parsley. And here we are. Once again, this is a side dish, that really I'd be proud to serve to anybody. Remember, I've always said, how do you tell if it's a good dish to serve? Ask yourself this question: if I had my boss over, and chances are my next raise was gonna depend on my meal, would I serve that? Ask yourself that, and that'll take any mediocre food and say, probably not. So, but this one I would. So, anyway, now, last question. What do you serve with that? How about a good old German Gewürztraminer? The Gewürztraminer, isn't quite, it's a little bit sweeter. I don't want to say sweet, because this is my home fermented. What this is it's not a sweet, it's more of a semi-dry, as is a Riesling. So you don't really taste the sweetness in it, but it doesn't have that tannin clip in it either. So, here you go. Here's something you can feel free to serve. Try it. You'll like it. And please, leave me a comment. Leave me an email. Tell me how you did with it. If you have any comments, suggestions, criticisms, middle finger, whatever, let me know that too. So, anyway, thank you again for joining me. Take care. God bless. Remember that cooking should always be a fun experience, and I'll look forward to seeing you next episode. Give me a thumbs up, for heaven's sake, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.